Hi everyone and welcome. In this video we're going to explore how virtual machines consume storage and what happens when we add virtual disks to virtual machines. I'm already connected in with my remote desktop session. I'm already into my ESXi 01 host and I'm already looking at my CentOS 1 VM. It's this guy here. So let me scroll down a little bit so we can take a look at what's happening with storage. So right now I have one virtual disk. This will be like having one disk in your physical machine. That's hard disk 1. If I expand this out, we can see that this is thin provisioned. And if I look down a little bit lower with resource consumption, I can see that in storage, I have 12 gigabytes provisioned. That corresponds to the size of my one and only disk. And we can see that used is only 1 gigabyte. So basically, I've set aside 12 gigabytes for the VM, but I've only used one, and therefore the remaining space is actually available for other VMs to use. In other words, if I never actually do fill that disk up, I will never actually allocate the 12 gigabytes on the disk. Now, what happens if we add some disks? I'm going to scroll back up here a bit and edit the settings of my VM. So I'm going to add a hard disk, and it's going to be a new standard hard disk. I'm going to make this 1 gigabyte in size, and I'm going to thin provision it. And sorry about that, didn't mean to click OK. And I'm going to add another hard disk. I'm going to also make this one 1 gigabyte in size, and I'm going to specify that this is going to be thick provision eager zeroed. And we'll save that out. So now I've made the changes to my virtual machine, and we can see that over on the right hand side in the hardware configuration, I've got a 12 gigabyte disk. I've got two 1 gigabyte disks. If I expand out hard disk 2, I can see that this is thin provisioned. And if I expand out hard disk 3, we can see that this is not thin provisioned. Scrolling down to look at resource consumption, we can now see that provisioned is 14 gigabytes, so 12 plus 1 plus 1. My actual is 3.77. So there's a little bit that is being consumed for the thin provisioned 1 gigabyte disk, that's the overhead. And then the disk 3, which is thick provision, consumes an entire gigabyte of space. So we're using up all of that space. So that's the way that provisioning works. And that's the end of the video. Hopefully this has been helpful for you, and we'll see you next time.